Greetings, citizens! I am FailureToReport, and so it is with the arrival of a new milestone patch to the PTU. We take our first look at what is on the way to backers everywhere. So, let's talk about StarCitizen 3.4. With the final milestone patch of 2018 now in the hands of the Public Test Universe, or PTU, we are getting our first look at the state of StarCitizen until sometime late first quarter 2019. And I have to say, I find the direction StarCitizen is being navigated pretty amusing. Now, keep in mind that patch 3.4 is what Chris Roberts called 3.4 Lite, because the bulk of its features were pushed into 3.5 due to time constraints and not being able to finish the planned features before the holiday break. But I do think that 3.4 Lite gives some really interesting insights on what is to come, even with the limited content in this particular patch. 3.4 sees the introduction of some new mechanics to the game, such as overheating mechanics for the quantum drives, power plants receiving ramp curves, and probably one of the most noteworthy new mechanics is targeting of subsystems on ships. We also see some new ship additions with 3.4, from the 600i touring model to the Freelancer Max cargo hauler, Der Explorer, and the Mist gunboat. So, if nothing else, we can close out 2018 on the high note that the Freelancer line is finally complete. The PTU is currently still missing the new Anvil Hawk, but the month isn't over yet. I won't, however, be surprised if we end up seeing the Hawk delayed until a follow-up patch later on with 3.4. CIG has very readily shown off the Freelancer and the 600i touring over the last month, leading up to December, yet the Hawk has been strangely absent from any other promotional material. In addition to the new mechanics and ship, CIG has also expanded Loreville by opening up the Business District, adding some new fluff to the city. While the business district does feature some nice looking architecture, it still leaves the function and purpose behind the city with a lot to be desired. But I don't see that getting remedied until StarCitizen is much further along and has more gameplay depth in general. So, while 3.4 has been mostly exactly what Chris promised it to be, a light version of what 3.4 was originally supposed to be, it does accomplish fleshing out two ship lines as well as some improvements to other aspects of the persistent universe. However, I think one of the biggest takeaways from StarCitizen 3.4, from my perspective at least, are the ship system changes and the direction I see StarCitizen moving towards from here. Over the last few months, we've seen a lot of talk about StarCitizen's future flight model, while also slowly getting revisions of various game mechanics, and over the last year, I find it interesting that StarCitizen seems to be slowly shifting more and more towards emulating features from Elite Dangerous. When I stopped backing StarCitizen and tried Elite Dangerous out for the first time, roughly a year ago, one of the hardest things to get used to and tolerate was Elite's flight model. I hated the main-centric feeling, the plane-in-space flight model that Elite had compared to the incredibly agile flight model StarCitizen used to have. Even without decoupling, StarCitizen used to boast some amazing flight performance. You could yaw 180 degrees while thrusting in reverse to target an enemy behind you while still maintaining your intended course without having to even decouple. And the ships felt like they responded to you on command versus the slow and cumbersome maneuvers of Elite Dangerous, which heavily rely on pitching and using boost to gain quicker turning times. Even with flight assist off, Elite's flight model feels like a pale empty shell compared to what StarCitizen used to offer. And yet, Cloud Imperium seems to be steering StarCitizen more and more into the realm of Elite Dangerous in terms of ship performance. A major mechanic in Elite Dangerous is heat management, which comes from firing weapons and using other systems, while also stressing your thrusters through trying to maneuver in atmosphere or boosting too often. We now see Cloud Imperium implementing overheating on quantum drives, a preview to a key feature coming in the flight model rework, which is having thrusters that will overheat from heavy maneuvering or stressing them in atmosphere. These changes to the new flight model, along with the coming heavy focus on main-centric flight, will be pushing StarCitizen more towards World War II planes in space. While we haven't gotten our hands on the new flight model yet and things can change, I personally find the trend of adopting Elite Dangerous into StarCitizen with thrusters that can burn out from heat, and the idea of gimping StarCitizen's ship agility with planes in space, a bit disturbing of a trend. The overheating is extremely concerning when Cloud Imperium seems focused on greatly extending time to kill and eventually phasing out the hit point model for disabling a ship. This means much increased dogfighting times, all while hoping to avoid the ridiculous thruster cooking mechanic and praying that it doesn't turn your ship into a floating brick. Moving yet further into the elite similarity bubble is the new implementation of the subsystem targeting being implemented into StarCitizen with 3.4. Though currently I don't know if anyone could really tell yet how it works, seeing as there's no HUD display for what you're targeting or how that system is going to work. So while it is possible I might have missed CIG talking about implementing this system anytime soon, I'm fairly certain that the subsystem targeting kind of came out of left field, and I honestly don't understand the reasoning for it. But let me explain. The average Star Citizen is ecstatic when they can maintain pips on the target at all against NPCs. Throw in player versus player combat, and it's worth celebration when most players can stay on target for more than a few seconds. Now, currently, time to kill enables most players to land kills with a few lucky moments of landing hits because the current damage model is essentially hit points and weapons being scaled for fast time to kill. So, with CIG now mimicking Elite Dangerous with subsystem targeting, I'm left wondering, how is this going to be fully fleshed out? Currently in Star Citizen, if you want to pop somebody's engines off, you need to aim for them. If you want to disarm a ship with wing-mounted or chin-mounted weapons, you need to pull those wings off or snipe the chin mount. On larger ships, it's fairly easy for any skill level pilot to do this. On smaller ships, the enemy is usually dead before you're disabling anything. The reason CIG implementing subsystem targeting is concerning to me is that Cloud Imperium has steadily been building a reputation for hand-holding players in areas that CIG is too proud to admit they were stupid in. Exhibit turrets. The large majority of players can't hit the broadside of the Death Star with a turret, and that's fine. It's completely reasonable in space trying to hit somebody with an aimed turret, much less trying to attack an enemy fighter. So, CIG's fix was to implement a heavy aim assist to try to make turrets be more than just absolute garbage taking up space. Having trouble tracking that enemy fighter in your ship? ESP is here to help steer you onto target because we don't want people to feel like they need to practice and get better at combat. Let's just aim assist them into competency. Where am I going with this? I'm utterly terrified that subsystem targeting will be the groundwork for CIG to implement some cheesy aim assist for component sniping, instead of encouraging fighter pilots to practice and improve on their own flight and gunnery skills to a level capable of targeting specific ship parts. I see the best case scenario for this new subsystem targeting being Cloud Imperium implementing yet another cluttered, poorly designed UI element for putting your pips on to help you locate where to shoot. And then that just leads to more of a mess and an already terrible user interface design. Now, while all of these mechanics that mirror Elite Dangerous aren't technically all bad things, and hey, when you can't be original, copy something that works. And after 7 years of trying to figure out how to make and maintain a flight model, I can kind of understand why CIG would want to start taking the lazy route and just copying somebody else's work. I feel like it's a shame to see Star Citizen slowly shedding parts of its identity that made it unique and separated it from both past space games and its current competition. On the upside though, there is one change in 3.4 that makes the end of the year patch worthwhile, and it's this one. That's right, you can now press F for a quick interaction on objects that default to the most sensible option that you previously had to hold down F, inner thought your way through the mouse click menu, click the object that you actually wanted to interact with. Oh god, this change is more than welcome, and I'm so happy to see that this is finally being implemented. It's something that critics of the inner thought system have been screaming for ages. Basically since the inner thought context menu bullcrap was thought up by CIG, because it's just an incredibly clunky, terrible interface to use. So, dear Cloud Imperium Games, if you're going to start taking ideas and mechanics and concepts from Elite Dangerous, for the love of God, steal their user interface, because 7 years in and yours is absolute dog crap. Like, literally, it's trash. And if there's one thing from Elite Dangerous that is done incredibly well, it's their user interface. It is so quick to navigate. Everything that you need to know is right there. It doesn't look cluttered to hell. It's so user-friendly. Now, this is usually roughly the part in the video where the fanboys are screeching at their monitors and vowing to take up a self-induced crusade to avenge Chris Roberts because I dare besmirch his works. Look, There just isn't much to praise here. If there was, I'd gladly give CIG the recognition, but I would like to think that even a moderately level-headed white knight should be able to come to terms with the fact that the bulk of this patch was moved to 3.5, so there's just really not a lot here. But if you really do want to put your helmet on and rally the banners, feel free. I've got a few family holiday events I'm going to be stuck at over the next week, and I'll gladly comment joust with you so that you can protect your lord's name. At any rate, I'm sure we'll see more stuff added into 3.4 before live release, and hopefully some more performance and UI improvements as well. With all that said, I am FailureToReport, and you fly safe, citizen.